Right, the XR2 cylinder head. We spin away to the engineers. So it's had all new valves, been skimmed, make it nice and true and flat, yeah?
Yeah.
So all new valves, all the valve seats recut, new valve guides pressed in, but they're what they call the very slim type, because these, to put a proper, what you call a proper valve guide in, you have to machine them completely out, because they were the valve guides are cast in with the head. They're not removable. Most engines, they're removable. So what they do is they ream them out slightly bigger and they put a bronze insert in, which we've had done. All new valves, chased all the threads, made sure all those are clear, given it a prime and a paint, fitted all the valves, all looks good. And that's basically just the assembly of the cylinder head. I can put all the studs in now, core plug in the other end, I can do that, hang the gaskets on it just to keep them nice and flat. That's as far as it goes with the cylinder head, realistically. We've rebuilt all the rocker gear already, so let's put that on, show you where that goes. So the rocker shaft was very, very worn, so we've changed that for a new one.
Where was it worn?
Slight pitting in the top of the tappets, but that's nothing major to worry about. That's the old shaft. You just see all the wear marks on it and ridges in it, yeah? So basically, you can set your tappets and you can set everything, trying to take all the slack out of any play that's in this to the rocker arms, but it will never be right.
Yeah.
It'll never be 100%. Then you got, so your push rods come up from the camshaft and the followers up through those 8 holes there, yeah?
Yeah.
And that sits on there. All needs rear. You have to shove them all around because it's all these are basically loose. They're not loose, you have to press them on, but you heat them, get one started, heat it, move it whichever way it wants to go, yeah? So your push rods come up through those holes there and operate your valves opening and shutting. So that's all been rebuilt, all cleaned, oil feed. I've got to tighten up the end screws because that's pressure fed from that hole there, yeah? So it goes up through there, through a hole in the rocker shaft, which is whichever end it was. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So it feeds oil into that. The originals are capped with a bash-in plug.
Yep.
Absolutely no point in trying to clean them out. It's a waste of time. So you buy the new rocker shaft that isn't worn, and they have screw-in ends, so you can take those out and rod it through to clean it if you need to. So that's your pressure fed up to there, comes out of these little holes in the top there, runs down, oils the top of the valves.
Okay.
Your tappets. You've got a valve stem oil seal in there, the grey bits, I don't know if you can see them there. And they're what you call an umbrella type seal. They don't fit over the top of the stem, over the top of the guide, they're just literally as an umbrella.
Yeah.
So the oil hits it, comes off and runs down the side of the spring, as opposed to it just pouring oil straight down the valve guide.
Yeah.
And that's it till we get the engine back next week, and that's probably one of the last bits to bolt onto the engine, you know.
Fantastic.
Right, got the XR2 engine back from the engineers. So we've had new camshaft bearings, which are these. They've put it through their cleaning system and it's been rebored by 90 thou over, which is an awful lot, which equates to this. He gave me a souvenir. That's how much metal came out of that block.
Blimey. Oh my God.
Yeah. So that's what a 90 thou rebore on 4 pistons looks like.
Truth.
So, yeah, quite a lot. So I've gapped all the rings, they're all good. So basically just ready to start assembling.
Okay.
So first thing, some people put the crank in first, but I like to put the followers in and the camshaft in first.
Yeah.
So it's only preference of what you like to do, you know. So you've got 8 cam followers. This stuff's called Graphogen. It's a colloidal graphite paste which gives protection when running in all types of precision built machinery, and it's stood the test of time. I like to use this on parts that are moving, obviously that's what it's for. Some people put it down the bores, some people put it in cam bearings. I don't like to do that. Anything with an oil passageway, and I don't generally like to put this stuff in. It does dissolve in the oil, but I'd rather use cam lube and just oil, basically, because this stuff's sticky shit. I'm going to put a bit on the face, a bit on the sides. That's literally all it is. A little bit where the push rod goes in. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's inlet and exhaust per piston, yeah? It's a messy job, somebody's got to do it.
I was going to say, how do you apply it? But you always seem to stick it on your fingers, don't you? And then...
Well, you want it smothered, you know. You can brush it on, but it's you'll be here till next Christmas f***ing about with it. Right, so that's your lifters. So you have to put them in first because the camshaft sits on top of it, yeah?
Yeah.
So next up is camshaft. So we've got, what I like to use is cam lube. This is that one. On your bearing faces. Sticky, horrible stuff again. Plenty of that in there. Yeah, plenty of lubricant in there, and then when you before you even fire it up, you take the plugs out, just wind it over for probably 5 minutes, maybe a little bit more, and get oil pressure around everywhere before you even consider starting it, you know?
Yeah.
Right, again, a bit of graphogen on your cam lobes, don't want them on the bearing faces. The camshaft goes in. Be very careful with it, trying not to nick your cam lobes on any of the bearing faces. So that's your camshaft in, yeah? Check for any tight spots, well that all feels really good. Good engineers, if they're after their mustard, they'll make sure there's no tight spots left on it anywhere, so.
Yeah.
A little bit of cam lube on there.
Where would you find tight spots though?
Sorry?
Where would you find any tight
As you
spots?
rotate it, you'll feel it just snag up if it's going to.
And if you felt tight spots, how would you rectify that then?
Take everything I've just done, all the crap we put on it, take it all back off, mark it all up with a marker pen or engineer's blue, and see where it's picking up. You see where it's marking it. I'll put the sprocket on in a minute. Right, just line that up. Got a lock tab, 2 bolts. These don't have spring washers on them because they're designed, we'll check it in a minute, to go straight in there because you don't want that face contacting with your pulley when it's on there.
Is there a setting for how tight that needs to be?
Yeah. So this is an inch pound, not foot pounds.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is, it's in my head. Right, so next thing is get your sprocket. Put him on. Make sure nothing's hitting there because you get shallow head bolts and deep head bolts. That's all good. All sounds nice. No tight spots. Let's bang over our lock tabs. Just double check that again in case the lock tabs have come up. So you've got new timing chain and new gears. Right, that's fine. Right, so next thing to go in is the crankshaft. So these are our main bearings there, so we'll just give them a squirt and a clean up, make sure everything's spotless in there. So we're not replacing the cam bearings because we checked it all and it's all measures up fine, yeah?
Okay.
So I number them all as they come off, obviously. And I've dotted these, you centre punch your caps, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you feed them in. You've got your tongue there, yeah?
Okay.
You put that in there. Push your bearing down there. And you just want to give them a really light tap just there. In case you know that that's fairly level then, that's it.
Do you feel it seats then?
Yeah. Yeah, so basically you're rolling it in that way, so you put that in there, in its tang so it can't move, yeah?
Yeah.
Push it down.
Does it click into position or does it just
Doesn't
go
click,
flush?
no, it just goes flush. Then when your cap goes on, the bearing holds it in there.
Okay.
If I was going to build this, cam lube I always use it, but this will probably be running by Friday.
Yeah.
So not worried about putting anything to maintain the bearings, just plenty of oil. Because if you're going to build it, put it in a car and start it, it's fine. If it's sitting around on the floor for 6 months before you put it in,
Yeah.
you want to give it some, so you use either Graphogen, cam lube, because the cam lube, oil will run away, the cam lube won't, it sticks to
Okay.
whatever's on it, you know. Plenty of oil in there, don't be frightened of it, it'll go all over the floor, but don't worry about it. It's quite touchy-feely building an engine. Well, anybody can sling an engine together, but you've got to be careful so you're feeling it all the time, you know. Just get rid of any debris that's been sitting in it, you know. So these marks here, you can see slight stain marks in it. There's no ridges in there or anything, it's all been plastic aged up. It's literally where it had water in the oil
Right.
from when the head gasket had gone. Give that a nice clean up.
Do you have to blow it out at all?
Nah, that'll be fine, as long as it's blown the debris out of it. Pop your crankshaft in. Again, oil everywhere. Okay, that all looks okay. Feels all right. Well, you've got to put your what we call thrust washers in first, thrust bearings. Okay, so they fit in a crankcase side, brass to the outside. That's to stop the crank doing that.
Okay.
You should be able to just put them in there. Might have to pop the crank back out. Just feed them round like that, yeah. Well, that's the right way. Let me double check that. That goes that way. You can put them on the block first and hold them with a bit of grease. So that's called your crankshaft end float, so it'll go. You see, it's very tiny. Okay, watch here. See that move?
Just slightly.
Just
yeah.
on that bearing
Yeah.
there. So that sets your crankshaft end float.
What would happen if you put those in the wrong way around?
Chew them all to death.
Really?
Yeah, because you've got phosphor bronze one side and metal the other.
Oh, right. Okay.
Okay, so your caps can go on now. Again, all been cleaned, ready to go, so plenty of oil again. Right, so they're all marked up. As I've taken them off, I know where I've marked them, but the arrow's always forward, yeah? So you've got front, R2 written on that. And then it'll be centre, marked on it. So you know that's your centre cap with C and the arrow forwards, yeah? That'll do just for nipping them down. So I start from the centre and work my way out. This is just pinching the caps down. You just want to check it for rotation every time you put it together, yeah?
Yeah.
You want a little bit of resistance there, you know, but that turns nice and freely. Get hold of it by hand. That's fine.
Okay.
You think of the amount of bearing area contact surface, you know? There's always going to be that very slight little bit of drag.
Yeah.
And that isn't torqued down yet. When you torque them down, they should free up.
Yeah.
That's on 30. So you just got a sliding scale, it's your lock nut on the bottom of the torque wrench here. So you want 30. Can you just see that there? 30, and then the line going down like that.
Oh yeah.
Then you set it on 0, and you know you're at 30 pound then. Again, start from your centre, work your way out. Check for your rotation again. Yeah, much nicer.
Yeah.
Much nicer, because it pulls everything down into line, you know. Okay, so now we've got 60. Right, so that's torqued down properly now. Check again. Nice. So that's all rotating nicely, yeah?
Yeah.
We know our camshaft's rotating nicely. All good. So the next thing to put on is a timing chain. Right, so what you got, I took this off yesterday and pressed the new one on. If you look on there, can you see that dot there? Yeah, okay, so then you've got a corresponding dot on your cam wheel.
Yeah.
Okay, so you put your chain on. So what they do is, when it's all together, they face each other. And that's there. We know that's opposite the dot on the roughly on the location dowel. And put him on there. Bring the cam back a little bit. Oh, it's not going to have it, is it? Let's take that off, make sure it goes on alright. That is literally just getting it on there lined up squares, because you're hanging off the chain like that, yeah?
Yeah.
So you just got to try and wiggle it on there. It will go. Ooh, that'll be enough, I suspect. There she goes. So that, yeah, so you rotate it. See, they're in line, yeah? So you go from the centre line of that to the centre line of that, yeah? And those two are in line.
Yeah.
So that means your cam timing is correct. Okay. Put your camshaft lock bolts on. There's a large side and a small side, see that?
Oh yeah.
You want your large side covering the dowel pin on your crank, on your cam. Oh gee, that doesn't look centre to that. Let's see if it covers the other way. Oh, that looks more central and it still covers it. Okay, that's fine. It's just to stop that dowel pin coming out if it ever decides to come loose, you know. Right, that needs to be tighter. I generally do these by hand feel.
Okay.
Okay, that's nice. All feels nice, all feels good. Cam chain's not running out of line. So we can do our lock tabs now. Make sure they're home nice and tight. Okay. So he just sits on there like that, yeah? So you've got that, which goes on there. And that is spring loaded. Okay?
Yep.
So you pull it all the way back. See the serrations on it? Serrations on there. So you pull it back so it's not touching it. That's all the way off, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So when the engine's buzzing and singing and revving round and round and round, your cam chain will stretch. So that's that. That doesn't want to be any tighter than that, yeah? That's locked itself in where it wants to be. So as that cam chain stretches,
Yep.
and this rubber pad wears, that's the original, and worn where the chain goes.
Mm.
Okay. So that's actually offset, that one. So that, you can see where that isn't in the middle of that. So that's completely wrong. Cotton rods and pistones next. 711M donates it's a front wheel drive engine.
Okay.
Okay. 6015 is your generic Ford number for an engine block. Looked up all of the numbers. The original engine number on the logbook was CU77211, and this is only XR2 numbers.
Okay.
Okay, and that donates June 1982, which dates correctly with the car.
Yeah.
Obviously it would be, but I mean it's 45, 50, however old it is. Things happen, engines get changed, you know, blah blah blah. But the engine number on here, CS08584, donates that to March 1982, not June 1982.
Okay.
So we really are not going to worry about it being that couple of months out.
Okay.
So it's genuine XR2 engine out of an XR2, 711M, front wheel drive. It's 2 months out on its letter dating.
Yeah.
That's all it is. So it's genuine, absolutely bang on XR2 engine.
Perfect.
Number one, new gudgeon pins. Small end bearings were good. They've all been mic'd up, so I know they're okay. Yeah. I've checked all the ring gaps. They're all okay. So pick a piston, any piston. Don't know whether we need to heat them or not. No, they're a nice fit, so that's good. Right, all your new pistons, they're plus 90 thou,
Okay.
which is hence where all that metal came from. All the faces, look, got an arrow. The proper Hepalite pistons. Okay, so they go in that way. So number one, and your dot is forwards, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, that's the way they came out, but normally your oil sprayer, which is that tiny little hole there, goes and squirts the camshaft. So I need to double check this, because these could all be in the wrong way round from when it was built the second time.
Yeah.
That doesn't explain very much. Pistons connecting rod relationship, lubrication hole and piston crown mark. See, it might squirt up into the to the small end instead of onto the cam. That's the front. That's your front mark, so that's correct. Phooey. Bit of oil in there. Groove, man. So that's number one. Arrow forwards. Forwards that way. Now start putting pistons in. So number one, arrow that way, oil sprayer this side, that's correct. If you've got more than one piston ring, yeah, so set one there, one there, one there with the gaps.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Now I'll bring it out again. You want to make sure that you're just down past all the rings with your ring compressor, yeah? You can hold him there. Sometimes these go really easy, sometimes they're an absolute bitch. That was nice. Right, I've just got to get the torque settings for those. I can't remember. I think they're very low on these, if I remember rightly. Feels nice. Right, front, check our oil hole, that's correct. Do our rings.
How much drag is?
On a new engine, I mean, like that Buick Straight 8, you can't turn it over without a big bar on it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they take quite a lot of welly. But that's not excessive by any way or form. You know it can't be wrong, basically. So you've gapped all your rings,
Yep.
yeah? All of that's plastic aged up to 2 thou. Pistons are right, new timing chain, new everything, you know. So that's your basic bottom end of an engine build.
Okay.
Your timing marks should fire, cam timing marks should line up when you're on top dead centre,
Okay.
and it'll be lined up with number 1 or number 4, so you just double check it. Alright, there you go. So that's top dead centre, so that in theory will be firing number 1 piston, top dead centre, that's your cam timing all dialed in.
Perfect.